Bali clearance. Good evening, Emirates 5227, ready for pushback at 14.
Bali Tower. Good evening, New Zealand 90262 is on approach. New Zealand 90262 cleared to land runway 09er.
Emirates 5227, cleared for pushback. Bali ground. Emirates 5227, ready to taxi. Emirates 5227, taxi to runway 09er.
Bali ground, New Zealand 90262 requesting taxi to the gates. New Zealand 90262 taxi to gate 14.
Bali Tower. Emirates 5227, ready for takeoff runway 09er. Emirates 5227, cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali clearance. Good evening, Virgin 6801, ready for pushback at 23. Virgin 6801 cleared for pushback. Bali ground. Virgin 6801, ready to taxi.
Bali Tower. Good evening, American 90514 is on approach. American 90514 cleared to land runway 09er.
Virgin 6801, taxi to runway 09er.
Bali Tower. Good evening, Springbok 49er is on approach. Springbok 49er clear to land runway 09er.
Bali clearance. Good evening, New Zealand 3487 ready for pushback at 25. New Zealand 3487 cleared for pushback.
Bali ground. American 90514 requesting taxi to the gates.
Bali Tower. Virgin 6801, ready for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali Tower. Good evening, KLM 6416 is on approach. KLM 6416 clear to land runway 09er.
Bali ground, New Zealand 3487 ready to taxi. New Zealand 3487 taxi to runway 09er. Bali clearance. Good evening, Indonesia 5819er ready for pushback at 05.
American 90514 taxi to gate 25.
Bali ground. Springbok 49er taxi to the gates. Springbok 49er requesting taxi to the gates. Springbok 49er taxi to gate 23.
Virgin 6801 cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali ground, KLM 6416 requesting taxi to the gates.
Indonesia 5819 cleared for pushback. Bali ground, Indonesia 5819 ready to taxi. Indonesia 5819 taxi to runway 09.
KLM 6416 taxi to gate 05.
Bali Tower, New Zealand 3487 ready for takeoff runway 09.
Bali clearance. Good evening. Lion Inter 7525 ready for pushback at 24.
New Zealand 3487 cleared for takeoff runway 09. Bali Tower, Indonesia 5819 ready for takeoff runway 09.
Lion Inter 7525 cleared for pushback.
Indonesia 5819 cleared for takeoff runway 09.
Bali ground. Lion Inter 7525 ready to taxi. Lion Inter 7525 taxi to runway 09er.
Bali clearance. Good evening. Ukraine 3181 ready for pushback at 07. Ukraine 3181 cleared for pushback. Bali ground, Ukraine 3181 ready to taxi. Ukraine 3181 taxi to runway 09. Bali Tower, good evening. Korean 7846 is on approach. Korean 7846 cleared to land runway 09. Bali Tower, Ukraine 3181 ready for takeoff runway 09.
Bali clearance. Good evening. Korean 9727 ready for pushback at 10. Korean 9727 cleared for pushback. Bali ground. Korean 9727 ready to taxi. Korean 9727 taxi to runway 09.
Ukraine 3181 cleared for takeoff runway 09.
Bali Tower. Lion Inter 7525 ready for takeoff runway 09er. Lion Inter 7525 cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Indonesia 4538 clear to land runway 09er.
Korean 7846 taxi to gate 24.
Bali Tower. Korean 9727 ready for takeoff runway 09. Bali clearance. Good evening. KLM 2155 ready for pushback at 67. KLM 2155 cleared for pushback. Korean 9727 cleared for takeoff runway 09. Bali ground KLM 2155 ready to taxi.
Bali ground Indonesia 4538 requesting taxi to the gates.
KLM 2155 taxi to runway 09.
Indonesia 4538 taxi to gate 07.
Bali clearance. Good evening, Indonesia 9055 ready for pushback at 02. Indonesia 9055 cleared for pushback. Bali Tower KLM 2155 ready for takeoff runway 09. KLM 2155 cleared for takeoff runway 09. Bali ground Indonesia 9055 ready to taxi.
Bali Tower. Good evening. Qantas 4960 is on approach.
Indonesia 9055 taxi to runway 09.
Qantas 4960 cleared to land runway 09.
Bali clearance. Good evening. Caribbean 3157 ready for pushback at 68.
Ukraine 8758 clear to land runway 09er.
Indonesia 9055 cleared for takeoff runway 09.
Caribbean 3157 cleared for pushback.
Bali ground Qantas 4960 requesting taxi to the gates.
Bali ground Caribbean 3157 ready to taxi.
Bali Tower. Good evening, Ukraine 4738 is on approach.
Qantas 4960 taxi to gate 10.
Ukraine 4738 cleared to land runway 09.
Caribbean 3157 taxi to runway 09.
Bali ground Ukraine 8758 requesting taxi to the gates.
Bali Tower. Good evening, Lion Inter 6766 is on approach.
Bali clearance. Good evening. Emirates 90543 ready for pushback at 26.
Lion Inter 6766 cleared to land runway 09.
Ukraine 8758 taxi to gate 67.
Emirates 90543 cleared for pushback.
Bali Tower Caribbean 3157 ready for takeoff runway 09. Caribbean 3157 cleared for takeoff runway 09.
Bali ground Emirates 90543 ready to taxi.
Bali Tower. Good evening. Indonesia 6372 is on approach. Indonesia 6372 clear to land runway 09er.
Bali ground Ukraine 4738 requesting taxi to the gates.
Bali clearance. Good evening, Virgin 8751 ready for pushback at 16.
Ukraine 4738 taxi to gate 68.
Emirates 90543 taxi to runway 09er. Bali Tower. Good evening. Japan Air 2962 is on approach. Japan Air 2962 clear to land runway 09er.
Bali ground Lion Inter 6766 requesting taxi to the gates. Lion Inter 6766 taxi to gate 02.
Virgin 8751 cleared for pushback.
Bali Ground, Indonesia 6372 requesting taxi to the gates.
Bali clearance. Good morning, Air China 8927 ready for pushback at 22.
Indonesia 6372 taxi to gate 26.
Bali ground. Virgin 8751 ready to taxi. Virgin 8751 taxi to runway 09er.
Bali ground, Japan Air 29er62 requesting taxi to the gates.
Air China 8927 cleared for pushback.
Japan Air 29er62 taxi to gate 16. Bali Tower, Emirates 9er543 ready for takeoff runway 09er. Emirates 9er543 cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali Tower. Good morning, Virgin 6010 is on approach. Virgin 6010 clear to land runway 09er. Air China 89er27 taxi to runway 09er.
Bali clearance. Good morning. Lion Inter 1381 ready for pushback at 66. Lion Inter 1381 cleared for pushback.
Bali Tower. Virgin 8751 ready for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali ground. Lion Inter 1381 ready to taxi. Lion Inter 1381 taxi to runway 09er.
Virgin 8751 line up and wait runway 09er. Virgin 8751 cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali clearance. Good morning. Etihad 5649er ready for pushback at 19er.
Bali ground. Virgin 6010 requesting taxi to the gates. Virgin 6010 taxi to gate 22. Bali Tower. Air China 89er27 ready for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali Tower, good morning. KLM 7860 is on approach. KLM 7860 cleared to land runway 09er.
Bali clearance. Good morning, Air Asia 7357 ready for pushback at 20.
Bali ground, KLM 7860 requesting taxi to the gates.
Air China 89er27 cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali clearance, good morning. Ukraine 7879er ready for pushback at 64.
Bali Tower. Lion Inter 1381 ready for takeoff runway 09er. Etihad 5649er cleared for pushback. Lion Inter 1381 cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali Tower, good morning. Emirates 6426 is on approach.
Bali ground. Etihad 5649er ready to taxi. Etihad 5649er, taxi to runway 09er.
Air Asia 7357 cleared for pushback.
Emirates 6426 cleared to land runway 09er.
Bali ground. Air Asia 7357 ready to taxi. Air Asia 7357 taxi to runway 09er. Bali clearance. Good morning Caribbean 9429er ready for pushback at 65.
KLM 7860 taxi to gate 66.
Bali Tower. Good morning Caribbean 3236 is on approach.
Ukraine 7879er cleared for pushback.
Caribbean 3236 clear to land runway 09er.
Bali ground. Ukraine 7879er ready to taxi.
Bali ground. Emirates 6426 requesting taxi to the gates.
Bali Tower. Etihad 5649er, ready for takeoff runway 09er.
Emirates 6426 taxi to gate 20.
Bali Tower. Good morning. Lion Inter 9280 is on approach. Lion Inter 9280 cleared to land runway 09er.
Ukraine 7879er taxi to runway 09er.
Bali clearance. Good morning Japan Air 5477 ready for pushback at 27.
Bali Tower. Good morning Air China 3140 is on approach. Bali ground. Caribbean 3236 requesting taxi to the gates. Air China 3140 clear to land runway 09er.
Caribbean 9429er cleared for pushback.
Japan Air 5477 cleared for pushback.
Caribbean 9429er taxi to runway 09er.
Bali clearance. Good morning Lion Inter 6473 ready for pushback at 01.
Japan Air 5477 taxi to runway 09er.
Bali ground. Lion Inter 9280 requesting taxi to the gates.
Etihad 5649er, line up and wait runway 09er.
Bali Tower. Air Asia 7357 ready for takeoff runway 09er.
Caribbean 3236 taxi to gate 64.
Etihad 5649er, cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali ground. Air China 3140 taxi to the gates.
Bali Tower. Good morning American 5558 is on approach. American 5558 cleared to land runway 09er.
Air Asia 7357 cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali Tower. Ukraine 7879er ready for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali clearance. Good morning KLM 99er 11 ready for pushback at 69er.
Air China 3140 requesting taxi to the gates.
Lion Inter 9280 taxi to gate 27.
Bali Tower. Good morning Ukraine 9534 is on approach. Ukraine 9534 clear to land runway 09er. Bali clearance. Good morning Ukraine 5055 ready for pushback at 03.
Air China 3140 taxi to gate 19er.
Bali ground. American 5558 requesting taxi to the gates. Lion Inter 6473 cleared for pushback.
Ukraine 5055 cleared for pushback.
KLM 99er 11 cleared for pushback.
Bali Tower, good morning, New Zealand 5756 is on approach.
Bali ground, Lion Inter 6473, ready to taxi.
New Zealand 5756 cleared to land runway 09er.
Ukraine 7879er cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali ground, Ukraine 5055, ready to taxi.
Bali clearance, good morning, Virgin 6719er, ready for pushback at 17.
Bali Tower, Caribbean 9429er, ready for takeoff runway 09er. KLM 9911, taxi to runway 09er.
Bali ground, Ukraine 9534, requesting taxi to the gates. Ukraine 5055, taxi to runway 09er.
Lion Inter 6473, taxi to runway 09er.
Ukraine 90534, taxi to gate 65.
Bali clearance, New Zealand 90263 ready for pushback at 14.
Caribbean 90429er, cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali clearance, good morning, Speedbird 8351, ready for pushback at 18.
Bali Tower, good morning, KLM 3006 is on approach.
Bali Tower, Japan Air 5477, ready for takeoff runway 09er.
KLM 3006 cleared to land runway 09er.
Japan Air 5477, cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali ground, New Zealand 5756 taxi to the gates.
Bali Tower, KLM 9911, ready for takeoff runway 09er.
Speedbird 8351, cleared for pushback.
Bali Tower, good morning, Caribbean 3652 is on approach. Caribbean 3652 cleared to land runway 09er.
New Zealand 5756 requesting taxi to the gates. New Zealand 90263 cleared for pushback.
Bali ground, Speedbird 8351, ready to taxi.
Bali clearance, good morning, American 7863 ready for pushback at 12.
New Zealand 90263 taxi to runway 09er.
Speedbird 8351, taxi to runway 09er.
Virgin 6719er, cleared for pushback.
Bali ground, KLM 3006 requesting taxi to the gates.
Bali ground, Virgin 6719er, ready to taxi.
KLM 9911, cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali Tower, good morning, Indonesia 4404 is on approach.
Bali Tower, Ukraine 5055, ready for takeoff runway 09er.
American 5558, taxi to gate 18.
Bali clearance, good morning, Etihad 2567, ready for pushback at 21.
Virgin 6719er, taxi to runway 09er.
Bali ground, Caribbean 3652 taxi to the gates.
New Zealand 5756 taxi to gate 17.
Caribbean 3652 requesting taxi to the gates.
Indonesia 4404 clear to land runway 09er.
American 7863 cleared for pushback.
Bali clearance, good morning, Caribbean 8465, ready for pushback at 06. Bali clearance, American 9515, ready for pushback at 25.
Ukraine 5055, cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali ground, American 7863 ready to taxi.
Bali Tower, Lion Inter 6473, ready for takeoff runway 09er. Lion Inter 6473, cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali ground, Indonesia 4404 requesting taxi to the gates.
Bali Tower, New Zealand 90263 ready for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali Tower, good morning, Caribbean 5908 is on approach. Caribbean 5908, cleared to land runway 09er.
New Zealand 90263 cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali clearance, good morning, Lion Inter 7263, ready for pushback at 08. Bali Tower, Speedbird 8351, ready for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali clearance Springbok 49er 1 ready for pushback at 23.
Indonesia 4404 taxi to gate 01.
American 7863 taxi to runway 09er.
Bali clearance KLM 6417 ready for pushback at 05. Caribbean 3652 taxi to gate 69.
KLM 3006 taxi to gate 03.
Bali ground Caribbean 5908 requesting taxi to the gates.
Speedbird 8351 cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali Tower Virgin 6719er ready for takeoff runway 09er. Virgin 6719er cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali Tower American 7863 ready for takeoff runway 09er. American 7863 cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Etihad 2567 cleared for pushback.
American 90515 cleared for pushback.
KLM 6417 cleared for pushback.
Bali ground Etihad 2567 ready to taxi.
Bali ground American 90515 ready to taxi.
Etihad 2567 taxi to runway 09er.
American 90515 taxi to runway 09er.
Bali ground KLM 6417 ready to taxi.
Bali Tower, good morning. Springbok 1620 is on approach.
Springbok 49er 1 cleared for pushback.
Springbok 1620 cleared to land runway 09er.
Bali ground Springbok 49er 1 ready to taxi.
Bali clearance Korean 7847 ready for pushback at 24.
Springbok 49er 1 taxi to runway 09er.
KLM 6417 taxi to runway 09er.
Bali Tower, good morning. Qantas 2602 is on approach. Qantas 2602 clear to land runway 09er.
Bali Tower Etihad 2567 ready for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali ground Springbok 1620 taxi to the gates.
Caribbean 8465 cleared for pushback.
Lion Enter 7263 cleared for pushback.
Springbok 1620 requesting taxi to the gates.
Bali ground Caribbean 8465 ready to taxi.
Etihad 2567 line up and wait runway 09er.
Bali Tower American 90515 ready for takeoff runway 09er. Caribbean 8465 taxi to runway 09er.
Lion Enter 7263 taxi to runway 09er. Bali clearance Indonesia 4539er ready for pushback at 07.
Caribbean 5908 taxi to gate 08.
American 90515 cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Etihad 2567 cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali ground Qantas 2602 taxi to the gates.
KLM 8676 cleared to land runway 09er.
KLM 6417 cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Springbok 49er 1 cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Springbok 1620 taxi to gate 25.
Caribbean 8465 cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Qantas 2602 requesting taxi to the gates. Lion Enter 7263 cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali Tower, good morning. Eric 2046 is on approach.
Qantas 2602 taxi to gate 23.
Eric 2046 cleared to land runway 09er.
Indonesia 4539er cleared for pushback.
Bali ground KLM 8676 requesting taxi to the gates. KLM 8676 taxi to gate 06.
Bali ground Indonesia 4539er ready to taxi. Indonesia 4539er taxi to runway 09er.
Korean 7847 cleared for pushback.
Bali ground Eric 2046 requesting taxi to the gates. Eric 2046 taxi to gate 21.
Bali ground Korean 7847 ready to taxi. Korean 7847 taxi to runway 09er.
Bali Tower Indonesia 4539er ready for takeoff runway 09er. Indonesia 4539er cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Springbok 369er cleared to land runway 09er.
Bali clearance Qantas 49er 61 ready for pushback at 10.
Bali clearance Ukraine 8759er ready for pushback at 67.
Bali Tower, good morning. American 90264 is on approach.
Ukraine 8759er cleared for pushback.
Qantas 49er 61 cleared for pushback.
Bali ground Ukraine 8759er ready to taxi.
American 90264 cleared to land runway 09er.
Bali clearance Ukraine 4739 ready for pushback at 68.
Bali ground Qantas 49er 61 ready to taxi.
Ukraine 8759er taxi to runway 09er.
Bali ground Springbok 369er requesting taxi to the gates.
Qantas 49er 61 taxi to runway 09er.
Springbok 369er taxi to gate 24.
Bali Tower Korean 7847 ready for takeoff runway 09er. Korean 7847 line up and wait runway 09er.
Ukraine 4739 cleared for pushback.
Korean 7847 cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali clearance Japan Air 29er63 ready for pushback at 16.
Bali ground Ukraine 4739 ready to taxi.
Ukraine 8759er cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali ground American 90264 requesting taxi to the gates.
Bali clearance Indonesia 6373 ready for pushback at 26.
Bali ground Japan Air 29er63 ready to taxi.
Lion Inter 6767 cleared for pushback. Ukraine 4739 taxi to runway 09er.
Bali Tower Qantas 49er 61 ready for takeoff runway 09er.
Bali Tower, good morning. Eric 1708 is on approach. Eric 1708 clear to land runway 09er.
Qantas 49er 61 cleared for takeoff runway 09er.
Virgin 6011 cleared for pushback.
Indonesia 6373 cleared for pushback.
Bali ground Lion Inter 6767 ready to taxi. Bali Tower Ukraine 4739 ready for takeoff runway 0.